Well, howdy doody, everyone, and welcome back to the Summit 3 American Qualifier Phase Number 1. We are in our second series today. It's Merlini stack, the Merlini Fog TC stack known as Monib Baray, taking on Boreal Esports.
I thought you said you were going to tie your tongue out of that knot during that break.
I'm trying.
Monoob.
As slow as I talk,
Maybe it's Monoob Baray.
I'm just so excited.
Yuck, yuck, yuck after game number 1. What a rough showing from Monib Baray. They started off so strong, and just that mid-game, they got run over. The Quap controlled their tempos, Dakota.
Yeah.
Will she do it again? We'll see. I don't know. I feel like 747 was the turning point of that game.
And I think what they might need to consider doing is just kind of adding pressure to that mid lane. Take 747 outside of his comfort zone. Don't let him do what he wants in the mid lane so he can just build up that farm and be a big snowball kind of a factor if that's what he likes to do. So with that, they maybe could change things up, not go with a jungle farming kind of a hero and give Fog maybe something he could be a bit more aggressive with. We'll have to see. But we have a draft. Let's get in that draft. Let's see what the hell's happening over here. Well...
Whoa, Daddy, that's first pick on the Bat Rider. So
I've never seen that before in Dota.
Oh my, what is happening to my brain? Bat Rider's a weird one, though. You know, something like last game, we saw him ignored. I don't think he was banned out. Certainly wasn't picked. And right after game number 2, why not just first pick the Bat Rider? He just oscillates up and down from love to hate. And, well, Monib Baray, they're going to try it out with the Fireman.
I can't help but feel like, though, it might have been I don't know, first pick Bat Rider and then you leave a Vengeful Spirit out there, it's going to get snagged up. And Boreal now have the Vengeful Spirit against the Bat Rider. We saw what happened last series. It was Guanzo playing the Bat Rider, and he could not get anything going. He was going against the Nyx Assassin, a Vengeful Spirit, a Disruptor who had a Yules, and really there was just no initiation factor.
It's tricky,
there.
dude. It's rough stuff.
It could be tricky, dude, right here. We'll have to see. Boreal, they open up their second pick, is going to be a Bristleback here. So that's nice and intriguing. But hey, there's more minus armor. Why don't we just get a Slardar? Why don't we get a Shadow Fiend and just really get this party started? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, big tanky guy for the front lines. Great off laner. Not really too scared of the Bat Rider in terms of getting caught in the lasso. So already they've got 2 good heroes to deal with. The Monib Baray assumed off laner. Probably your TC hero, as he is their new off laner. I'll be excited to see him on Bat Rider. What a change of pace that is. Change of roles. I mean, play the off lane Brood. He's still farming a lot. That's a little more similar to that carry role where we've seen him be quite comfortable. But Bat Rider, totally different beast.
Yeah, that is something, you know, as far as I'm sure he's been scrimming, practicing it quite a bit, whether it's in his own pub play and his scrim play with his team, but this is definitely something different than what he's been used to playing as far as professional play when you're actually in the spotlight. Lion's going to be the secondary follow-up. I imagine this is going to be what Fog could be playing, as this is something he played a lot of during Starlight. Remember that we saw those crazy quoted times as far as being able to throw together a Blink Dagger. If he wants to be more greedy, he could definitely do it there. So getting something like that and having the utility of that quick CC, that quick lockdown, and that burst of the finger could be a nice tool for Monib Baray.
It certainly could. A pretty strong opener for them. Can't really go wrong with the Lion pickup. Now we'll see how these next few bans come out. Enigma and Jug taken out of the pool from Monib Baray.
Monib, my lady, I tip my fedora.
And the Witch Doctor banned out by Boreal. And see what they pick up here. Still no Wisp. You were talking about that.
I was
in the
just
series
thinking
before,
that same thing at this moment. Like, you see Witch Doctor, and I'm like, oh, it'd be good if they were kind of at a Wisp. But where the hell is then the Wisp?
Yeah.
No Wisp. Fog's a big Wisp player. Maybe they don't have a big Tiny kind of a player, but it doesn't have to be just Tiny. It's just so funny. Some of these Dota kids and their regions and how they like to play certain heroes and how trendy the game can be overall. Forget that hero Wisp. No bueno.
Well, I mean, Boreal could also go for a Wisp here. Wisp Bristleback, a potent combo. We've seen it many a time before, but they switch it up. They go with the Abaddon. Another fun support. Whoa, Daddy, there it is.
There it is.
All right, so there's your Fogged hero this go around.
Okay. So that leaves Fog to be the Wisp player. That means Lion's probably going to be played up from Inori here, but does that mean Merlini could be playing a Tiny? Does that mean Monib can be playing a Tiny? Will we see a Tiny?
I don't know. Could be big, could be tiny. Time will tell. Boreal, do they take the Tiny here? Maybe they want a safe laner named Tiny.
Well, they already have a support established here, and neither Vengeful Spirit or Abaddon really have an answer for EO, but that's Lina. I feel like that's going to be the 747 hero. I mean, a lot of these teams have been toying with a core Lina, and you can really see the potential there. And there is going to be the Tiny.
So Wisp Tiny from Monib Baray, a very scary draft they've worked out for themselves. Huge initiation on the bat, relocate with Tiny, always scary. Then Lion, a really good support to follow up. Great team, especially in that mid-game. They'll be able to find kills left and right. Though Boreal don't have a bad lineup to deal with it. We've already talked about Vengeful to kind of counter the bat. Lina, pretty good against Tiny. Big damage, a lot of kite ability with that long range. And if you can just burst down the big boy, it's a good way to do it. Also, the nice thing about Laguna versus Wisp is he relocates in. You can just drop the hammer and blow him up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as luxurious as having like the Enigma, which I figured why they banned it out. You know, you can always just drop a black hole wherever they're going to be coming in from, but you definitely can work something out with timing if you do see the relocate coming your way. I'm curious to see what Boreal are going to do as far as late game and their core farmer that's going to have to contest this. Medusa's pretty good against a Tiny and a Wisp man fighters who can't really have an answer for something like a Stone Gaze. But it's just going to be hard. They're going to look to play aggressive. They're going to, you know, once Tiny's able to throw together some respectable farm and Wisp gets his relocate, they're going to look for pick-off potential across the map. And Boreal really need to have a way to, you know, to answer and respond to that or withstand it and take it into the later game.
So final bans coming out. Boreal, they ban out the Storm Spirit. Okay, now Brood banned out by Monib Baray, banning out a lot of heroes that they played in the last match. So.
Putting a lot of value into it, knowing something they don't feel comfortable going against, would rather just play it themselves. Probably the smart thing here. Looking at Boreal's potential off-lane grab, though, other options if that's what they wanted to do. I mean, now that means they're anticipating this Bristleback's not going to be the off-lane, and maybe could be more of a farming position instead.
It's really hard to say. Bristle you can put in a lot of different roles. They go with a Magnus pickup, so still ambiguous. Could be safe lane Lina, Magnus in the mid, Bristle in the off lane. All three of these cores can kind of play any role. I think Lina would struggle in the off lane, but Bristle or Magnus, very, very flexible.
Not very much late game overall right click. Bristle can get it done. We've seen it done before, but it's not your standards, you know. Oh, Slark going to be the final pickup here, and it looks like Monib's going to grab it up promptly, so that means Merlini's going to be the Tiny. I don't know, man.
This dire draft looks scary.
Yeah.
Very potent picks across the board. Boreal Esports, they can do it. I wouldn't say this is a straight-out draft, but will be a bit difficult. Photic Shield will help things out early on. It's pretty safe to say Monib Baray have the late game secured. They've got a pretty potent carry lineup here across the Slark and the Tiny. Boreal, their time to strike is kind of that early mid-game when Lina's really coming online. Once that Magnus has his Blink Dagger, I think that's when they need to do some pretty serious crippling damage.
Fogged and Merlini going to be hand-in-hand, two buddies in real life and in game. We'll see if they can look to bring this one back, but Monib Baray are definitely down one match here. It's match point for Boreal. They win this one, they move on, and Monib Baray say goodbye to their Summit 3 life. And, well, without further ado, I'll just try to get in some roster action before things do break out. On your Radiant side, it's Boreal Esports, who are up one win. Dewey's going to be playing your support Abaddon. We got Willies, or Will EZ, whatever the hell you want to say. He's going to be playing your Magnus. And then nearby, we got Susie, or 747, who's going to be playing your Lina. We got Tiburon, who's going to be playing your core farming Bristleback, and that leaves Juan, or Juan. He's going to be playing your Vengeful Spirit.
Juan with an X, that's for sure. Dire side, we got Monib Baray, TC on the off-lane Bat Rider. Fogged, he'll take the Wisp. Monib himself on the Slark, probably headed to the safe lane. Merlini on the Tiny. Reckon they'll do a dual lane mid. That leaves Inori on the Demon Witch Lion to support that safe lane.
Look for Fog to move into the jungle, build up those early stacks, and help Merlini accelerate his farm. We'll see if Boreal anticipate that and try to put up some contention here. Contention could happen, though, right off the gate. They want Fog to secure the rune so he can get a quick bottle, and he'll get it. Boop. There it's going to be. Nice. And now with that, he gets instant bottle. The core is like, I got that bottle for you. I'm going to wheelbarrow it out to you. Let me get there real quick. And with that, now you have extra sustain power. This is where things get fun. Merlini could be very aggressive in the mid lane, and though he may look like a weak and wounded animal at some points, Fog can just jump in, quickly heal him up with the bottle, and they could just turn things right around.
So with two heroes mid on the Dire, Radiant will commit to a 1-1-3. They'll keep three heroes in their safe lane to make sure Bristleback gets all the farm he needs. Willez goes off. So Susie, a 2v1 mid. I feel like this is a really tough matchup for Alina.
matchup we don't get to see very often.
Yeah, first couple levels should be okay, but once Tiny hits like level 3, level 4, the harass is just going to be nonstop. Even just spamming toss onto Susie will help push her back in the lane.
There's a couple of mid laners who could hold their own even in a 1v2 in a situation like this. I've seen some teams even pull out the mid lane Tidehunter, which has been able to work out well, Bristleback, stuff like that. But Lina, it's a bit of a difference. You know, she can be pretty squish here. Fog's going to try to zone her back. The first LSA is going to be missing. But Fog is just trying to create the blanketed space right there for Merlini to just get the easy early boost of CS.
Yeah. Willa's up top getting completely zoned out by Inori, like halfway through level 1, but Lion just standing there on hold, ready for the Rhino to walk on up and take some of that harassment.
And that means TC, who probably was zoned out hard in the bottom lane, just instantly goes to the jungle. So whatever stacks I was thinking, oh, mid lane though, big harassment. 747 dishes out the stun, and it actually forces a rotation from their Vengeful Spirit, and it's enough to keep them back. But the long toss does connect on 747, and oh! If there was like 2 more last hits from that creep, could have been in trouble. But they keep her down and keep her down hard.
34 HP. Yeah, Lina will stick around, leech to level 3, and now heading back to rendezvous with the courier. We'll have a salve being ferried out right now and can heal up. Now, for TC, moving into the jungle at level 1, very difficult. Batrider, a hero, usually needs to have level 2 before jungling becomes pretty easy. Went with the Firefly level 1, so can at least try to do this, but as you can see here, very slow just trying to take down these Centaur Conquerors. Without the sticky, those auto attacks do not do a hell of a lot.
And you're leaving a Bristleback to farm up, and that was the mistake we saw in the previous series where that Bristleback really became a problem. He just had free will to get whatever farm he wanted, and it seemed like he had a slow start grabbing a, you know, a respectable time Vanguard, but nothing too fancy. But then things just balled out of control once his S and Y came together, and you can't sleep on someone like a Bristleback. He will be a problem.
Yeah.
Lina ends up getting taken down mid lane. They get their kill. It's not technically a first blood, as she probably went down to a couple of creeps, but the gold is going to be shared, and now a big boost for MB in the mid lane.
Yeah, now this lane pretty much over for the Lina, I think. Maybe you're going to come back and can try it once more, but I really think they need to rotate one of these supports. Why is the Abaddon in the jungle when the Venge could be doing it? Abaddon mid lane can keep the Lina alive, give her the Aphotic Shield, Mist Coil. That can be the difference between death and survival right there. Certainly don't need the support down bottom. Now back to the mid. 747 taken down to half straight away. Gets a connection onto Fog with a stun. Dragon Slave needs to be careful. Toss from Merlini. There's the TP in from Dewey. Saves 747. Looking for the turnaround. LSA barely connects. They turn it around. Tiny falls. That'll tie it up 1 apiece.
That's the unfortunate circumstance as they went 2 levels into the spirits for Wisp and didn't get the 1 level into overcharge. Having that overcharge might have been the difference in, you know, soaking up a bit of that damage, but then again, with the help of that level 2 spirits, helps them bring out the damage and gets them the kills. Yeah. So
very nice.
You can see it from both sides, but Merlini will end up going down because that Abaddon was able to rotate. It was the right hero at the right time, and they end up baiting Merlini in a little too long, and they get their kill.
Yeah, now things are going to start to get topsy-turvy when you compare the off lanes. TC hits level 3, so over that hump of being level 1 in the jungle. Magnus only level 2, and one of the problems with offlane Magnus is he is not one of these heroes that can retreat to the jungle and really find a lot of farm that way. Sure, if there's a lot of stacks, he can kind of shockwave him down eventually if he has enough mana, but not very efficient at finding recovery farm, and a hero that you definitely want to be your tempo controller. Get that Blink Dagger at a reasonable timing and start moving around the map. Checking in on the Slark, Monib rather, what is he going for? Power Tread's his item of choice, so no Hand of Midas. Could have been a good game for it, but I guess recognizing that they've got the Tiny for the late game carry, he'll just go more combative items.
Back to mid lane we go. Fog is able to reach his level 4, puts the 1 level into overcharge, and continues to just try to harass back this Lina. And now Lina's standing at 15-2 in comparison. You got Merlini at about 17-3. No jungle to fall back and stack with. TC's still been working there, now at level 4, has a couple of pesky mud golems, but a stack nonetheless to really work with. He'll try to fire that down, and he's just blitzing forward on trying to get a Blink Dagger. Taking a bit out of the IX Mike book when he was recently playing with Fire back at Star Ladder. One of his more prominent heroes. He's just trying to make the best of this sticky situation.
Yeah, and doing pretty well. Gets some mud golems, but already halfway through level 4, 1,200 gold. Doing this without a bottle or tranquils. Might just go for a naked Blink Dagger. Merlini has his Power Treads coming on the courier. Everyone's still pretty happy just sitting back and farming. A much more quiet game than the one we saw moments prior.
Fogged actually gets level 5 before Merlini, but there's going to be the jump forward after level 5. He's able to level up the spirits even more. The toss back onto the ball. Susie's going to be alive with the shield and the heal. They just have Dewey on permanent mid lane duty at this point.
As they should. There's just no way for Lina to do this without the support of the Abaddon. Even with the Abaddon, you can see it's a struggle. Forced to use runes to stay in it. We'll move bottom for the 6-minute rune, and it looks like Wisp will head up top with Tiny to secure the top rune spawn here. We'll see who gets what. Susie gets the illusion, and Bounty goes to Fogged.
Alright, so they get that. A bit extra stain for both Fogged and for Merlini, obviously, in the lane. But as long as Dewey's there on the Abaddon, it's not going to be for any easy pickoffs. Bottom lane, though, King of CS is his Bristleback at 43 and 16, plus top of the net worth as he continues to have a full lane to work with. Has the ring already, 260 gold power treads have already been complete. He's going right for the Vanguard buildup. Like we saw previously here, this Bristleback could be a problem. And when the fights start breaking out and they think they have the upper hand with their initial burst of maybe a tiny combo stun, they could be welcomed with a couple of quill stacks, and next thing you know, they're breaking. You know, minus armor coming out, and unless Tiny's able to throw together that AC, he's working on very weak armor. Only one to start things out.
Yeah, at least until he gets points in that craggy exterior. Merlini going for an avalanche heavy build here. A little interesting. More often than not, you'll see toss the primary until you have them both maxed, just because of the lower cooldown. A little more spammable, and you're not having mana issues thanks to your tether buddy in the Wisp. Just a little more efficient to throw out the DPS, but nothing too insane. Safe lane farmers, both about tied on the net worth chart. Topping that baby right now. Tiburon with 51 CS and Slark with 52. So they are both really in free farm heaven at this point. Magnus, I'm surprised he hasn't tried to move back to the jungle yet. He's picked up a bottle now, but only halfway through level 3. Definitely still struggling.
Not the easiest hero to jungle with, but this is definitely not the same game for Willies as it was in the last one. He's been having a real hard time. Very minimal CS to work with, and he's only level 3. Constantly pressured back from this pesky Lion. He can't really offer a lot against Monib himself, so he's just got to play it patient and hope that eventually he can get to his level 6. Now reaching level 4, though, he's got a ways to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got a Willie's ways to go. Sympathetic laugh, thank you.
That was the like, oh, you made an effort. Congrats.
8-minute rune.
All right, Bounty for Fogged again. Down bottom, it's a double damage.
Magic blueberry rune. Dewey's gonna keep watch on it, but Susie's the one who's gonna snag it.
Susie is level 6 now, though, so there could be some kill potential. Laguna Blade online. Wisp, if they connect with a Light Strike array, I'm pretty sure that's a dead Wisp. I think if they just drop the full arsenal, there is nothing he can do about it, especially if there's even a miscoil there for a little bit of extra damage.
Trying to soften them up with a little bit of nuke damage in the lane. Love to be able to fish someone off with that Laguna, but it might not come at an easy price. Maybe looking to build forward, yep, towards the Yules. Already has the Void Stone on hand. Once the Yules comes together, things become a lot easier. There's your Vanguard now complete. 8 minutes in, even faster than the previous Bristle. He just continues to make work in this bottom lane. No sweat whatsoever. Let's touch base with TC.
Blink
he has
dagger's
his
up.
Blink Dagger and a smoke.
He's
bottom lane. Who the hell are you going to
himself.
get? Bristle's not going to be an easy grab.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. The same thing. Smoking in a
relocate
lane.
Lasso. I'm feeling it right now.
Okay, relocate. It is online. This could be the first one. There is... Alright, we'll see. Also, a Midas came out onto Slark around this same time. He did go for the power treads first. Could have had that Midas out a little more quickly, but ultimately Monib looking for a late game tool here, as this is a much more passive game, very farm intensive. Midas will pay some dividends. Mid, they're thinking about having to go on Dewey. He uses the Aphotic Shield preemptively. No borrowed time yet. It's an easy kill on the Abaddon. No relocate necessary, but they get the Tiny. Great swap from Juan. Now they go in onto Fogged. Okay, they won't pursue it, but Abaddon for Tiny, I think needless to say there, Dakota, not worth it. Even giving that kill to the Bristleback, far from ideal for the Dire team.
Good, quick rotation from Boreal to be there. Bristleback shows up and rains on their parade, and now he's got a big old stack to work with here. My goodness, this looks delicious.
Big old fatty.
Oh my God. This
Turn
is
that back,
Tiburon.
Tiburon.
If he goes right for the S&Y, he's going to get it in beautiful timing right now. And that was just the debut lasso pickoff right there for TC. It does work out, but yeah, like you already talked about, it doesn't work out in their favor in the end. And, well, Fog now. They're still waiting to maybe make proper use of a relocate setup, but really, what's their best option? Who do you really go for in a game like this? Once a Batten reaches level 6, it's not going to be easy to really take him down. Vengeful Spirit's been kind of in the dark, not really letting herself out anywhere on her own. It's going to be a tough task, but here's a Nori, smoked up as well, looking to scout out mid lane. He's not level 6 yet, so no finger going to be online, but they would want to get something set up.
Okay, let's see if they can do it here. Lingering nearby, and Nori wants it. No finger of death, but Susie ready to drop the Laguna.
Here we go. Boom. You're a frog.
Dewey again.
Toss, two-man stun. Very nicely done. They get Dewey, but this time they just take their one kill and they get the hell back.
Turn around, swap into Light Strike Array. There it is. Merlini going down again. Laguna to the face, baby. Rinse and repeat. Deja vu. A Batten for Tiny. I think Boreal will be okay with it.
Guess they didn't see the Vengeful Spirit TP into the mid lane, and because of that, they get the swap setup, and, well, Merlini gets iced. Again, back-to-back times, they only trade a support for their precious Tiny. Doesn't really end up working to their benefit. Now you got a Yule's complete on your Lina.
This is when Lina gets scary. Now, anyone she bumps into, free Light Strike Array, and if you've got the combo available, that's pretty much a guaranteed kill on, I think, everyone on the Dire side, at least for this window. Maybe not the Tiny. He's got huge hit points, but everyone else, if they get caught out, they're done.
And she's got such low cooldowns if you really just look at it. Light Strike Array, 7 seconds. Even her Laguna's about
Sometimes
a
you
minute.
gotta just look at it to go.
Yeah, it's like a minute long.
Look at it.
That means every fight she'll be ready to dish out her full combo and ultimate. And they could get Monib here. He's trying to farm up. He's got half life. He's in trouble. Oh boy. Uses the Midas. Up. He's fine. Okay, building up the hype for nothing right now. Monib is just going to be okay as he slarks himself out of there. It looks like Boreal have their attention on the tier 1 instead.
Radiant will get a ward down here. A little fishy flopping around outside of the lane. The Dire top tier 1. We'll also block out the pole camp, though not really too useful at this stage of the game. We'll start to pressure that tower down in the bottom lane. Willez will find a little bit of farm. He's at least level 6 now. Arcane Boots, this Magnus has been very quiet. But once he gets the farm he needs, I'm sure he'll erupt with thunderous applause. Dewey very close to the borrowed time, level 6 mark in mid, but it's Monib Baray ready to get aggressive. They want Dewey. They're going to pick on him, but it's a swap out from Juan. He'll be okay. Lina's on the high ground, sets it up with the LSA. TC gets juiced by the laser. It's a 1-0, and it's Boreal that get the kill.
They are always in a good position to just counter back and make it work. It's as if they already know what Monib are going to be up to. They're just anticipating the movement. They see when they're missing from the map, and they always have help nearby. Now Willies looks to get on the action. He is level 6. We have yet to see an RP pop out this game, and he will hold it for now. So it ends up being the one-man drop. We already talked about in the draft how hard it can be living the life of a Bat Rider going against a Vengeful Spirit. Well, there you see it, Exhibit A. Just a jump in, quick swap, and then you're in a, whoa, what the hell am I doing now position? And they just kill him.
Yep, absolutely. Merlini going into his drums, has him completed now, so still finding that baseline of farm, but you look at net worth and really falling behind compared to that of the Lina, who already has another 1,500 gold, even though he just picked up that Yule Scepter. Relocate down to the bottom lane. They go right onto Willez. Skewer, not going to happen. Tiburon's here, though, wants a recovery kill. Can they get it on Fog before they relocate back? They can. Now Merlini says, well, TP the hell out of here. Venge used her stun. Nice heads-up play to get out, but Monib Baray just can't find a freebie. They keep looking for these quick pickoffs, and as you mentioned before, Boreal always in a position to take some kind of a fight and at least make it even, if not find an advantage for themselves.
Yeah, they just really know where to be at all times. You can clearly see the synergy between them, but there's the jump mid lane. Dewey this time has the borrowed time. He's thinking about duking it out with Monib right now, and the rotation's starting to come, hidden in the tree line. Lina's here. No Laguna Blade as the man is not quite ready, but could not get the follow-through. And just there you see it again. Backup has arrived. Boreal just always there and ready to help out. Monib Baray, this was their time to thrive, Zyori. We got a Bat Rider with a blink. We got Tiny and Wisp with relocate at the ready. Slark could be making a move, but it's bottom lane where they get the jump onto the Vengeful Spirit, pull him back. Sticky's there. Finally, they move on forward. It's going to be Monib and Fogged who try to get the kill. They will. It's going to be the long grab from the Flame Break. Now they turn onto the Bristle, but the Quills start coming out. He's doing big damage.
He's got stick charges here. It's a finger. Okay, Abaddon was on his way in. It's good they fingered him when they did. He was about to pop his stick charges. Abaddon was on his way with a level 3 shield. there was a chance the Bristle lived and maybe could have turned around on some of the squishier heroes with all those quills stacked up. Finally, Monib Baray get what they're looking for, a big net worth gain of about 1,500. They will slow things down a little bit here as they relish in the glory of all these new spoils.
Definitely needed that one to breathe new life into this. They have so much mid-game potential, and now with Slark, after completing the Midas and getting his positional item, whether it be a Shadow Blade or a Blink or whatever, it's time to put that puppy to use. He's got eyes on bottom lane here. Dewey's borrowed time was just popped, so it could be an easy kill. Merlini waiting nearby in the wings. We're hoping for a potential opening, but now they have Bristle back here. This is not going to be as easy with more of the Boreal squad nearby.
Monib goes in. They want Dewey. He's the weak one, but a swap back to keep their friends safe. There's the Avalanche. Dewey goes down to the toss from Merlini, but now Fod getting the skew stacked up. We'll have a long-range tether right back to Monib, and Abaddon will be the only casualty in this fight, though Boreal will stay grouped up. Now move into the Tier 1 tower bottom. There is not a glyph here, so this sucker should go down.
Yep, should be an easy-peasy grab, but Monib don't even want to give him that for free. They're eyeballing it as if they want to make a counterplay happen. But it's going to be too late. They get their tower, they head out. TC was already in flight, but there's not going to be any sort of snag opportunity for him. Unless he cuts him off from the front here. He's scouting it, but they got to be seeing it here. Willie's does not have
There's a Laguna
yet.
here. He needs to be very careful.
Yeah.
That was pretty risky from TC. If they venture down to check the rune or something like that, you may find yourself in a world of hurt. They did have a ward down, so I guess not as dangerous as it felt, but still a bit risky. How's Magnus doing on his quest for a blink? He's about halfway there. 1,100 gold with his arcanes. I feel like that'll be a potential turning point here for Boreal.
Yeah, Boreal have been doing a lot considering that their Magnus hasn't really had an opportunity to show himself yet. But here we go. Dewey stunned up mid lane. Does have borrowed time. He'll lose a bit of his mana, but he's going to be fine as he just simply walks away from it. And, well, with that, they actually popped the borrowed time with a toss. So, yeah, good initial lead in.
Set
but here we go.
Tiny.
LSA, Fog going to go immediately for the relocate, but he gets stunned in an RP. Set up for Willies. Very nice charge forward. Gets it done. They pop the wisp ball. Merlini has to walk in behind the trees to try to hide himself out. But look at Tiburon just muscle his way on forward. Pops out the quills, slaughters one, looking to go for another. Monib's going to be very low. The quills are stacking up, and they should be able to bring him down, but he's able to pounce away from this. Merlini forcing the Bristle to get his hands full, and now Merlini walks away with 20 life. 20 life. He's going to be able to make it on out unless Tiburon cuts him off.
No,
he is still en route, but the slow. They want to turn back and get a kill. Here's Merlini.
Merlini, no!
He gets quilled in the face and taken down.
Oh, what a poor play that was. Tiburon's still alive. They bring down the Bat Rider. Slurk comes in, finishes off the streak. Juan will TP out. It was a pretty even fight, but all of a sudden, Boreal get two freebies at the end. Sure, Slark ends a big streak, but Merlini could have lived there, should have lived there, got way too greedy.
Oh, he turned back for a quick stun, but that quill just hit him in the face. Oh, that is not what you want to happen. Bristle takes them both down before he gets dropped. Oh my goodness. That was a good opportunity for Monib Baray to really come out on top, but they end up losing a bit more than they anticipated. Your kill score still in their favor, about 9 to 10. Net worth damn near the middle, however. Boreal continue to try to bring this game back. It feels like the momentum's kind of been in their favor, but just net worth alone, it's still been pretty strong for Monib Baray up to this point.
Yeah, and remember, they still have a pretty good late game advantage. Tiny Slark pretty damn good in terms of scaling with items. Boreal still in this window where they're pretty strong, a bit tilted in their favor. Lena still looking towards that Aghanims, only 1,100 gold off, and Tiburon still with a lot of ways to go before he's capped out. Sanj and Yasha, Vanguard, now another Ogre Club picked up as they do finish off that Tier 1 tower mid. That takes it 3-0 in total tower count. Boreal still not finding the gold lead. That is a little scary here that they're not a bit further ahead. Top lane, Willez. Blow for blow with Monib, tries to TP out, but Monib has the damage and gets a solo pick on the Magnus.
That's the other thing, is if this Slark builds up some kills, builds up some farm, he could be the real powerhouse in this whole game, even above the Bristleback, but it's getting to that point, which is going to be so crucial, because now we have Bristle with his SMY now complete. Looks like he already has an Ogre Club put together. Could be the Halberd. That's Bird.
He needs a bird.
Not the bread.
Not the bread, but the bird. Magnus
Birds eat bread.
desperately needs a Blink Dagger, though. Still 700 gold away. That kill certainly setting him back, but that is what Boreal should be waiting on here before they really commit to these big team fights. Once that comes out, some smoke rotations, moving into the dire jungle, pressuring the tiny, all things that need to be high on the priority list.
It just, like, Merlini gets in all these fisticuffs and he ends up getting dropped every time he makes a pick. Normally by now you have your Agnum Scepter and then your farm just goes absolutely bonkers. Or you can be able to pose threats onto towers, take them down quickly with your sieging power, but they're going to go on an adventure towards top lane, where TC's there, and they're just going to walk back together. So unfortunately they come up short on trying to maybe potentially get a grab onto the Magnus, and that's a relocate that's not going to end in a kill. That's a loss right there from Monib Baray if you want to be technical about it.
Yeah, so Boreal moved right into the Roche pit, and with all that minus armor from the Sticky, he goes down damn quick. And we'll hand over the Aegis to the Radiant side. Who takes it, though? Is it the Lina? Sure is. 747 goes cruising on in, and now he'll have a second life, as well as an, pardon me, Aghanim Scepter on the way out here. That's great news for the Lina. Now BKBs won't save you from the laser.
Yeah, this is going to be some huge burst. I mean, I don't even know if a BKB was even considered for anyone yet on Monib Baray. So it's just going to be straight up pure damage that's going to knock them on their ass. They're not going to like that. Bottom lane, well in control. Boreal have the momentum in this game. A game where they already have a one-game advantage.
Yeah.
They're just
Baray, one
so
match
strong.
from elimination. This is a do-or-die type situation here.
We saw yesterday, day number 1, the demon stack of, you know, Summoner's Rift. And a bit of an upset as Void Boy were able to take him down in a 2-0 series run. We could potentially see the same thing here. A lot of momentum, a lot of hype around this Merlini squad.
They get a tier 2. Did they go high ground here? The glyph was used.
They're pushing in. Yeah, they're making a go at it. They're trying to force someone back.
There's a blink on Magnus. It hasn't been revealed yet. This could be huge.
Oh, they smoke back as well.
This could be scary. This is a trap that's been set. But do Monib Baray spring it? Slow sieging at the high ground. They've traded a tier 1 in the mid for their tier 2 and tier 3 in the bottom lane. This is already a huge trade for Boreal, even if they don't get anything else out of it. They're obviously baiting with the bristle back. Whoa! One hit KO on the Lion. Susie going in.
Man,
Susie
shot to the face. TC already used his Firefly trying to get a hold of someone. His haste is about to deplete. They can't do anything. They're losing the racks. There's the jump. They get a hold and pull back Tiburon. Can they bring down the bristle?
RP?
There's the RP. Connects on 2, and now it's their turn to turn it around, but they get blown up. Tiburon barely alive at this point, manages to take TC down with them. Merlini gonna get healed up from Fog. Fog, the tether's gonna close. He's gotta reopen it once more. Dewey buried alive, steps back and away. And Nori also right in the mix. It's Monib who's able to clean it on up with his Slark. Lena's gotta get the hell out of there. And welp.
Alright, Susie lives. Buyback on the Lion to make that happen. It's a big gain for the dire side as they get all 5 dead. 4 plus the Aegis. Only about a 1,300 net worth gain. Slark stayed alive, but Monib went in way too deep to start off that fight. Almost died on the backlines while they were focusing Tiburon. And he was basically relegated to regen for most of it. Boreal get punished at the end, but they still trade a tier 1 for a tier 2 and tier 3. If they could have gotten barracks there, of course, would have been much better. Maybe getting a little bit hyper-aggressive, showing that they can pack quite the punch.
And Lion needs to know when he has to put himself in check. If he loses a little bit of life, he gets shot and just taken apart. You're talking about, what is it, 675 pure damage right now?
Yep.
675 pure freaking damage, Inori. Let's get a bracer or something going, otherwise, like, even right now, he would be one-shot killed on sight.
Lina, now with a Shadow Blade. This seems to be the 747 style. Little Susie going for the big hunting, the big rifle. This is exactly what happened last game. Was pretty quiet, a little bit stable, farming away, and then he got the Shadow Blade, and it was almost like watching a different player move around the jungle, get very aggressive.
Just loves that Shadow Blade, man.
But a big item pick up on Monib Baray. Now Merlini, 24 minutes in, finally has that big farming tool. The Whomping Willow, if you will, has been uprooted. He's ready to start cleaving around, and time to get serious.
But, like, what do? You can't, like, pick off anyone to relocate. They're all moving as a fucking herd in this bottom lane. Just
and there's no glyph. They
south.
might be able to just zerg the barracks here. Not worth it if they get totally wiped up, but
they're going.
They can just charge on in and focus buildings.
They got the blink RP. They smoke, set up the backliners once more. Monib is nearby. Maybe he can pop the smoke from the people in the back as he scouts it out. Blinks on in. Dark Pack tries to make a go onto Susie. Susie's gonna get swapped back and saved. TC's able to get the lasso, pulling back on the bristle. And they're going to try to, but no one's there. No one is there to help bring the damage. Merlini and Fogg have been doing work in the mid lane, adding the pressure there and waiting until they must bring them back. But they might lose a Rax in exchange. While going for a tier 2 in the mid lane, their Rax are in trouble.
They TP back. It's not even a relocate. The barracks destined to fall here. A few more auto attacks ought to do it. Dewey and Tiburon taking a lot of damage. Slark blinks into the back line, but doesn't find anyone. Now stunned up. Could be in some trouble. No ulti to reset. It is Boreal on the defensive. They will start to back out, knowing there's no lasso. They should feel a little more safe to turn and fight. BKB turned on by Tiburon. It's Monib going in very deep, right onto the Venge, but he gets juiced by the laser again. Slark will buy back after going down. Tiny is isolated by a Yules. They've gotten the Lion on the backside. Now maybe Merlini could be in trouble. There's your borrowed time. On to Dewey. Now he's on the run. We'll see Willez TP out, and they just want to prevent this Slark from finding any kind of recovery kills off that buyback. Dewey may be the casualty left behind here. Looks like they will cut their losses, looking for the deny, but can't get it off. Everyone will TP out, Tiburon included. Still a great fight for Boreal. They get the barracks, they kill the Slark, and they force him to buy back.
Unfortunately, it felt a bit clunky there at the end for Monib Baray. They probably could have cleaned up a lot more than they liked, but they get caught out of position and seem like they're just running around. A bit of a mistether there from Fogg. I don't mean to call out my man right there, but was probably hoping to get a hold of Merlini, and then they could really push it on forward. Maybe even do an immediate relocate to try to catch some people on the way out, but it's not there. And they only end up taking 1 life in exchange for losing their Rax. Bottom lane, the damage has been done. In a game where it's match point for Boreal, Monib Baray need this game to just stay alive in the Summit 3, and now they're already down like a wounded animal. But props to Boreal, man. Even from the start, they have been in prime position and ready, but now spotted out nearby. 747 gets seen by Nori. The stun's not going to connect, and he just says, I got to get the hell out of here.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Magnus skewers back the Slark. He saves Juan for now, but he might not live in the end. Monib chases him down. Double kill on the Slark. And up top, looks like Lion took the wrath of the Laguna here, but now Susie might not get out. Flame Break will finish it off.
Yeah, both of those fights at the same time. I couldn't quite catch what was happening there in the mid lane, but that Susie ends up getting caught after fingering down, or Laguna blading down, I guess you want to say, Lion there. They end up trading her life for one another. 14-19 at the end of this one. Merlini trucking himself back down this mid lane. They need to start taking down these structures and need to push back these lanes and just take this game back. They can't afford to let this one slip too far. Monib with Scotty in hand now. Feeling pretty confident that maybe they can add some pressure on this mid lane, but they got to be cautious. The high ground defense from Boreal, very strong. Bristleback should be able to hold his own in good position, plus they have a blinking RP at their ready. Always skewering back someone into the base. The jugular could be a problem.
Yeah, with the Lina dead, nice idea to try and make a play at the high ground. At least pressure it, see what your options are. Maybe they'll be caught unaware, but also a smart play to just back up, not force the issue, and continue farming. An interesting item to pick up on this Slark, though. Monib's gone for a Mask of Madness to go with the Eye of Scotty and Blink Dagger. A pretty good item on Slark, as you're pretty protected in the Shadow Dance. Some natural synergy there, but definitely not a pickup you see very frequently. Be interesting to see how it works here. Needs to be a little careful about how he uses it, though. The use does last longer than his ulti by a pretty big margin, so there is some potential to take big damage when you have that buff on.
Boreal looking to do just a bit of what they did before, but hiding up on the left-hand side, you could see Fogg and Monib waiting. There's going to be the stun forward onto Dewey, plus the toss, rather, hoping for an early borrowed time proc. It's not going to be there. Jumping on in, they want to take down the Magnus, but he gets the RP off onto Monib. They could burst him down, and they will. Laguna plus the right click is more than enough. Back and behind, Bristle has the rest of the MB squad full, and well, they cannot mount a strong counter fight without Monib, but they want to go for it regardless. They move forward. The juke back as the relocate's going to put Fogg back in behind. He tethers back on forward. Merlini still going on chase. Going to get stunned. And Boreal just kind of laugh at them and walk away. MB are not going to be able to pursue, and they end up losing a Slark in exchange for a Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, another good trade for Boreal. They couldn't do much more in the way of objectives, but That's the death after the buyback from Slark, so he'll be stuck in the grave a bit longer. And now they find some more item pickups. Bristleback improving that right click that much more. And now a Skull Basher sitting in his inventory, ready for a little bit of RNG. He's been the recipient of the Empower, and rest assured, his right clicks are packing something fierce. Alright, things looking pretty good overall for Monib Baray. They're holding on to that 3,000 gold, about a 9,000 experience edge. Getting into that stage of the game where the carries are starting to get a little more farmed, except that of Merlini, unless there's something on the courier. Alright, that's a Yash. I was going to say, he should have something a little more than that. This is last item pickup since the Aghanims. His farm still isn't really that amazing, but Slark tanking with the top and still looking pretty strong. I like the way he's been taking these fights, so you notice in that last one, he just jumped right on the Magnus. So it was a solo RP on the Slark. Found the kill, but stopped him from getting a bigger RP to cripple the team.
Yeah.
Now Roche falls to Boreal.
The problem is they had help right behind that Magnus, and with 747 playing like he has been, I mean, he just outclasses Monib right there and just is able to just shoot him in the face and take him right out of the picture. And now after getting a Roche, momentum's theirs. They go back towards this mid lane to finish up this tier 2, which I wager MB are not going to defend.
With a DD with Venge Aura. Damn, does she hit hard. Plus 210 right now. Oh my.
Wow. And she moves fast.
That's pretty nice.
Her passive.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It gets gross pretty quick.
This is something a lot of teams have been toying with, this core Lina.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the machine gun Lina the other day in ES Portal. The bloodlust on top of all of her fiery soul action. It gets pretty ridiculous.
You throw like
a troll warlord on top of that. Yep, we saw that exact draft the other day from NIP. It's something. It works.
So you see, I mean, it's just like, I'm not counting this game out quite yet, but if Boreal are to win this, many people would consider it a bit of an upset when you look at the stack potential on the squad of MB. And we see a drop like this. We see Demon's team go down. Where do you put in these teams that have been playing together for a while and just kind of don't really have the attention of the spotlight when they're beating out these kind of pub stack kind of teams?
Yeah.
You know, who do you give these qualifier spots to at that point when you just think that one side's going to have the upper hand? But we'll save those thoughts in the post matchup as Boreal want to move into the base and do more damage.
No glyph. This could be scary. They'll start chipping at this tower. They are still smoked up onto Juan and Willez. They just chip at the tier 3, feeling like this isn't the opening they want to go for. Will back on out. They do still have the Aegis of the Immortal. This go around, it is on Susie.
And you got to also consider, just bouncing on that thought, these teams, these Boreal teams, these Void Boy kind of teams that come together, this is their opportunity to kind of make a big upset play, take down some of these big popular names, and then they're the ones that kind of move to the next level and put themselves in a good spot, get themselves some attention that they finally feel like they deserve. We saw this last summit with Flipside NA, who eventually became Leviathan. They were upsetting teams. They had unique draft styles and unique play styles, and they got a lot of attention. Now they're going to be going to a team house and playing, and they're in phase 2.
Yeah.
This is the time for a lot of these teams to really make a name for themselves, and if they have to do it by taking down some of these big-name players, they'll take any opportunity they got to get the job done.
Absolutely. Boreal still on the verge of it here. Monib Baray not out of it yet with these late gamers, but they're getting out farmed. They're losing map control, and the noose is slowly being tightened as Boreal group up and pressure the mid lane. Still 2 minutes left on the Aegis of the Immortal, so still plenty of time for Lina to press into the limelight here. Fresh 10-second BKB ready to rock as well. Might make things a little more difficult for the Dire this go-around. I think a lot riding on the back of Magnus. He needs to stay way in the far back. Knows Slark is gunning for him. If he can hit an RP on more than 1 or 2 heroes, this could be a rough fight for the Dire. Again, without a glyph, this tower just gets chunked down so quickly. Only 1,000 hit point or 600 hit points left. Merlini doing a little split push down bottom. Has his Wisp buddy there. They'll have to wait for their next creep wave in the mid lane before they can shove into the tower, but this tower is going down quick.
Yeah, they'll get the tower fast on bottom.
Whoa, one-hit kill.
Tether, but oh, they get another one shot onto the Lion. It looks like take him out of the picture. 40 seconds. Glyph. Does have a buyback. The glyph's going to be used, and now pressure onto the tier 3 as it goes down. Rax is exposed. They've already taken one set of Rax out on the bottom. And meanwhile, Tiny, they're still pushing the mid lane, but action continues mid. TC makes a jump in, and he gets dropped immediately. Swap back. Monib could be in trouble. He has to pounce to make it out of there. He goes down.
Oh, relocate onto Dewey. That's the worst target to go on. Now Boreal can reset this fight. There's your Aegis. Merlini getting low. He's slowed down by the sticky. Monib bought back to get into this fight. Batrider still stuck in the grave. There will be 5 alive for Boreal outside of the base. They find a Lion. And Inori, I think, gonna pay with his life. No, they let him live. They want the barracks. The smart play from Boreal. They're playing objective gaming here. They get a mid lane of barracks. Their mid lane stays standing. Tiburon caught inside of the pounce from Slark. He may fall here, but it's okay. Boreal got what they came for. The laser, they bring down Tiny. Susie with the BKB on, just throwing the fireballs at Fog. He'll live for now. The Yules, oh no, it's on a creep. They wanted it on Monib. It's a misclick, but now Slark is here. Magnus back in the party. He comes skewering on in, and it's gonna be to his death. Monib cleans up the team, but they lose their melee barracks. Will he get the rampage here?
Come on, baby.
Juan?
Come on, baby. Boom.
Rampage.
That's what I'm talking about. They need it so bad, but the damage has been done. Is it too little too late? Oh my god, they're going to have to pull out an ultra defense here. The Berserker strat has been real for Boreal to just kind of throw themselves into the base to get the job done. This time it actually doesn't work out. Monib Baray are able to get the return. Well, did he have to buy back for that one? Did the Slark end up going down the first time he did?
Slark, as well as the Lion, had to buy back to make that whole thing happen. So it did end up well for Monib Baray, but it cost them quite a bit. Boreal still get a lot. There is a ranged barrack still standing mid, but who cares about a ranged barracks? Now the tier 3 in the mid lane for the Radiant will be in some trouble.
Relocate Tiny to mid? Why not, right?
Yeah, they've got a couple of buybacks here.
They're doing it. They're going to relocate him bottom, and they're going to go right for the tier 3 there.
All right, mid lane, the ranged barracks go down. Tier 3 falling very quickly in the bottom. The relocate out. Will they leave the Tiny behind? They will. Batrider's here, lasso onto Juan. Merlini just focusing the structures. He gets the ranged barracks, but if they can punish this, this could be bad news bears. Merlini now on the run with support inbound. 747, Shadow bladed up, trying to press forward. There's your Yules on the Batrider. They'll punish TC. He's got the BKB, though. He lives for now. Monib goes in, trying to focus Susie. Swap across the way. It'll cost the Venge his life. The BKB on Monib, keeping him alive for now. But can they get this fight going? The skewer on the illusions, not what Willez was hoping for. Monib still just kiting around. Dewey does not have a borrowed time here. He's about to get cleaved down by Tiny. He's dead. This could be bad for Boreal here, KotLGuy. They are playing with fire, quite literally. There's the Yules on the Batrider. They're just trying to survive to regen back up in the well. Buyback was already used by the Abaddon. Now he TP's in. They want to punish this. Slark goes jumping into the tier 4s, finds the kill on the Lina. Now a buyback on her.
They have to buy back because Merlini's going for the racks now on bottom. If they win this fight and take them down, they could just take this game back. Susie's very low, is able to get off the right click. Finger flies, takes down Abaddon to buyback for him. Die back down. They are able to bring down Merlini. He does have a buyback if necessary.
Slark does not. Both melee barracks are still standing. It's only range that went down. A big play from Monib Baray, but not enough to seal the deal.
Oh my god. I don't even know where the hell we are right now in this game. You're looking at 2 sets of racks down on the side of Monib Baray, but they get so much out of that mid lane fight. A rampage Slark. They make the go for mid lane. Slark cleans house there. They relocate onto bottom. Merlini in tandem with Fog, they're able to bring down a tier 3 in 1 set of racks, and then the longest fight I've ever seen in my life breaks out bottom lane, back and forth. Boreal just kind of overextend and get a bit wishy-washy with everything. They lose a couple, but thanks to some buybacks, they were able to withstand. If they didn't have those buybacks, Monib Baray would have came out huge, and they could have cleaned out another couple of racks themselves.
Yeah.
Definitely things would have been square even. But
quite a few buybacks on cooldown here on both sides of the coin. This game really heating up. It's always scary when you have that Lisp Tiny when you get to the game like this. Even if you're Boreal and you can find the kills, you're winning team fights for the most part. That relocate base race style is a threat no matter what stage of the game you're in. Slark will have his buyback on cooldown and stuck in the grave for another 25 seconds, but Tiny back up, ready to fight. Another 2,300 gold, ready to rock and roll. Boreal need to be very careful about how they take this next engagement. Roche not up for another 90 seconds, could become the focal point in this match here.
They're already scouting it now. It's not going to be there. They need another minute or so before it will be up. By that point, everyone from MB will be back and at the ready here. Just looking over the buyback chart. We need 2 minutes before Slark would have his buyback up and ready to go. But, man, oh man.
If they kill this Slark and he does not, well, within this next window where he doesn't have buyback, he's their big damage dealer. Tiny's doing a lot of damage, but Slark's the one making all the space. He's the guy that's keeping these supports in the back line, making sure this Magnus is not setting up for a big blink RP. Also making sure 747 doesn't have free roam of the team fight to keep throwing out those light strike arrays on point, forcing the Lina to micro around and, well, not tank a Slark.
The nice thing going for Boreal is because of this 2-lane advantage, the pressure keeps building up inside the base. Monib Baray would love to be able to put a defense at the Roche pit, but they have to keep these lanes pushed out, and they'll have to show themselves and show that they're not going to be nearby for defense. Roche is up in about, what, 10 seconds time?
15, yeah.
Very, very close. Monib Baray need to quickly get these lanes pushed out in a way so they can have some space to work with here. But they already have the vision on the high ground. They'll see if Monib Baray do move over.
Start making the move. Bat Rider, the master of the pit, does give them a little bit of an edge here. They see Monib. Tiny's little glow stick there hiding in the darkness. Roche has officially respawned. Double damage bottled by the, or activated by the Bat Rider.
And he gets a good D ward here. He has that gem. So now Boreal are going to be in a bit in the dark. Monib's already started on the Roche right now. Boreal not going for it quite yet. Are they stepping back, waiting for a smoke?
Yeah,
they are. They're
going
to make sure they're out of vision entirely. And, well, they could look for a big counterplay here.
Smart play from Monib Baray, though. They don't overcommit to the Roche pit. They don't go charging in. They just bait with the Slark. Looks like Boreal will just try to wrap around and catch them completely unaware.
Oh, man.
They know that Monib can't solo down the Slark very easily, but this is a big gamble. You look at the Radiant Vision. They're totally blind. Dire, they break the smoke, and they see him.
They see Slark, and they swap him right back. Oh, disaster. Oh, my God. He's able to Shadow Dance. The RP's not going to be there, and he just makes his way on out.
But BKB wasted by TC. It didn't come for free. Now in Nori, he gets left behind. That'll be the first pick off. BKB used by Tiburon. Sees the Tiny. Dewey in the front line. So he'll be the first target. That's your borrowed time. Now Monib, BKB on. He goes down. He's got a buyback, as does the Lion. It's a 5v5 back in this fight. Finger onto Dewey. And Tiburon may be in some trouble here. Merlini in hot pursuit. Avalanche up in 2. They trade their Abaddon. Whoa, Juan, he's in deep. He wants TC. One more auto attack will do it, but he's stunned up. And the Bat Rider lives. It's a 2 for 2, but it's Monib Baray that used the buybacks.
They got to get to that pit right now, goddammit, and take that Roche down. Get this Aegis if they want to get back in this game. They desperately need it. Boreal have now handed the game back in favor of NB at this point. Still advantage on the racks, but definitely not the opportunity they look for. It looked like a promising start. They drop the ward. They see where Monib is. They swap him back, but he's able to slip away once more. If they were able to quickly shut down the Slark, things could have been very different, but they were not able to take control.
Alright, so Roche on the deck, and a Midas just hanging out in the pit there. They'll grab the cheese on the Tiny, and Aegis will go to the Slark. Remember, Slark had to buy back to make that Roche play happen. Still 2 buybacks for Boreal on cooldown. The Lina and the Abaddon. This is a big window for Monib Baray. Aegis and Cheese, they need to get a lot done with this.
My goodness. A game that felt super in control for Boreal at one point has been dropped back the other way. At about 5k net worth advantage as it stands right now for Monib Baray. XP also in their favor. Though their base has been taking the more punishment, they're confident in being able to hold on at this point and just kind of withstand the onslaught that Boreal were able to bring forward. Their Slark is starting to get to a pinnacle point that could even contest this Bristle and Lina duo.
Yeah, the graph still isn't out of control, though. Only about 4,000 net worth lead for MB, and maybe like 9,000 experience. They've got a lead. They've got the carries starting to take over, but not by a huge amount. They've done a really good job slowing down Merlini's item progression this game through forcing buybacks, continuing to pick him off. He's only 4, 6, and 16. His snowball not picking up nearly as much momentum as a Tiny Wisp combo hopes for. He'll be the one to grab the cheese, 4,500 gold, but still hasn't picked up an item since that Manta, which he got like 15 minutes ago.
So back to a separation of farm. Looks like Boreal, they're definitely have changed things up quite a bit, not going as aggressive and blitz heavy as they were previously. Now knowing that MB have the Aegis on hand, don't want to risk overextending. At this point in the game with your potential relocate kind of a plays, you could lose your base at the drop of a hat.
Well, they are grouped up as 5, moving into the bottom lane. This is the lane they've already killed the barracks in. Oh, the Rune of Many Winds comes out from Monib Baray.
He's going to hit so freaking hard.
Radiant ping out the mid barracks, and Monib Baray running towards the mid barracks as well.
Base. They're in the base of Monib Baray at the same moment.
You do not want to base race this.
It's a racer. DD Tiny's going for it. They need to click immediately.
They are going for it here. Magnus with a big RP skewer back. Isn't enough to buy them the time they need. Monib getting low. Juan's there as well. Meanwhile, at the Dire base, it's just TC. Lasso on to 7-3 or 7-4-7. They're going straight for the throne, though. Once they get down these tier 4 towers, Willow's trying to make as much space for his team as he can, but Merlini, he's just the whomping Willow. Barracks, or the throne's
already hitting the shrine on the Dire side, though. They're bringing it so low. It's so close.
Buyback on the Magnus. Radiant might be able to win this. They're doing a lot of damage. It's going to be Boreal that takes it. It's a 2-0, and Monib Baray eliminated. Are you kidding me? A Tiny loses a base race with a double damage. Magnus, he was the one that made the plays there. The skewer on 3, the RP. What a closer to that game.
I am grateful.
I don't know. It was so hard to keep track. I was like frantically jumping to both sides. I might have dropped the ball there, but it was just ridiculous.
That was one of those few times and you're like, why do we not have another OBS in here for the base race cam? Because that was unbelievably close.
I gotta download that replay right now.
I'm a little beside myself. I really thought the double damage Tiny would have that. Every time I pinged back, it was the Magnus making the plays, throwing out the shockwaves. Just absolutely incredible. They even killed the Slark. I didn't see exactly what Monib Baray did at the end, but I think it was more that they focused the heroes instead of the structures. If they had just ignored the heroes and went straight for the buildings, they might have been able to do it. But I'm looking forward to watching this instant replay and seeing the KotL camera work here.
It's really bad. Don't look at it. It's so bad. Everyone's probably going to be shitting on me as it is. But I was like frantically jumping, and it was my mistake. I had that like fancy directed thing, and it just didn't want to look at the base.
Oh, so you're just like scooting back and forth, like whoop,
it
whoop,
like
whoop,
auto
whoop.
locks. I'm never using that thing again. It like likes.
I actually hate that shit. I really do.
I'm done with it. It likes to auto lock onto heroes. So when you want to look at the structures, it's like, yeah, I want to look over here, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, I like it the old-fashioned way.
I felt like I did such a disservice. I feel terrible. So what I'm going to do is we should just wrap it up here so we can get the VOD nice and clean cut, and then I'm going to get this replay downloaded.
All right.
Of course, it's pending right now, and then I would love to look at it again.
Let's do it. I got nothing else to do, so we'll keep chatting about it here.
I mean, in the end, it's Boreal who pull out a pretty nice upset. They clean out the series 2-0. The Merlini stack, the Monib squad. They end up going down. As you're checking the replay, this is going to be so bad.
Oh, Willez, you dirty devil. There's the buyback. They spent too much time trying to kill the Magnus. Yeah.
See, that keeps jumping down.
Oh, man. It was close.
Yo, what the hell? No! It's so bad. Oh, my God. You know what, people? I'm sorry. They're like, it's so bad.
Oh, my God. You could tell, though, that was not just you being absolutely derpy. There was like, the robot was fighting you. So he was like, I want to look at the throne. And it's like, oh, but no, let me help you. There's heroes down here, sir. It's like, no, goddamn robots.
That was crazy. I'm going to try one more time to see if the replay's up. I don't think it will be. It's not. So I'm going to give it a moment. When it's up, I'm going to bring it up on stream. We can talk about it. But hey, props to Boreal. They're able to move on. They're going to be taking on Pain Gaming. Woo! And, well, that's going to be happening tomorrow. So we could take a brief look at the bracket as it stands right now. I haven't updated, obviously, yet. But moving on already was Tinker, who had bested Asurus Gaming. Void Boys beat out an upset there against Summoner's Rift. We saw earlier Pain Gaming beat Root Gaming. And now an upset as Boreal Esports are going to be moving on to face Pain Gaming. One of these 4 teams is going to move on. And, well, we're going to have 2 teams that are going to qualify at the end of tomorrow. And those teams will take on for Phase 2. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff indeed.
Big day coming up tomorrow. So, all right, let's cut it here. Let's run the bumper. Then we'll come back and do this Zyori KotL review.
Show us some support at KotLGuy, at Zyori, at Beyond the Summit. Hit that follow button. We're going to put the VOD up on the YouTube. And like I said, I'll get the replay happening here. Folks,
come on, kids. Head over to the YouTube and watch the videos.
Yeah, watch the fantastic cam work at the end. A pleasure as always, folks. We'll see you in just a moment. What the hell, Dota? I want to look at this replay and it's never available. Figures.
Even if it's winter time, even if it's summertime, even if it's raining, you are going to love it.
Hey guys, so obviously I would love to bring this replay up so we can get an exact in-depth analysis as far as what the hell actually happened at the end of that game, but apparently Dota and Steam just want me to just relish this terrible moment of my life.
God damn it, Dota!
And they'll leave it at finding replay unavailable, maybe? Yes, no, I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't work, so hopefully it pops up within the next couple of minutes. If not, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sure someone else out there will could a highlight reel that's better than anything I've done. So, oh well, we'll make the best of it.
Down and shut up, I don't want to hear a word come out of your mouth. why won't you listen to me? Outside life's great, but inside you're screaming. It's not how you thought it would be. Are you hoping for something? Waiting for some sign? Time to jump in or simply get the hell out. I think you better make up your mind. Your perfect world has been upset, and this is the best it's gonna get. Come on, get up, shake it off and work your way beyond the fallout. But you still won't listen to me. Bam, the smack of the truth wakes you from your dreaming so inconveniently. It sucks that it was all for nothing. Your plans were redesigned. It's a shame you didn't stand for something. Now it's too late to make up your mind. Your perfect world has been upset,